Hello, I'm Zara Handscomb and welcome to this edition of UON News. A different kind of epidemic leads our bulletin tonight, with a wave of homelessness sweeping across the Hunter. Driven by skyrocketing rental prices, local Novocastrians are finding it increasingly difficult to find an affordable place to live.
According to the 2021 Equity Economics Report, homelessness has increased in the area by 40.5% and housing stress by 33.8%. Forecasts predict another 468 people losing their homes within the next 6 months.
Rental prices have definitely gone up in the last 6 months. The main reason is there's just an undersupply of properties available for rent, so not enough stock on the market. So there's more people looking versus properties available.
As the rental market skyrockets, the area is seeing a noticeable increase in the amount of homelessness from beaches to parks across the city. Here at Nobby's Beach in Newcastle, this is one of the many places providing a home for those without one.
However, the Newcastle City Council is doing very little to help with this homelessness pandemic.
What will happen to these locals as prices continue to rise? Charlotte Lloyd, Newcastle University News.
A report from the Bureau of Crime Statistics and Research indicates there has been a fall in drug and alcohol-related crime across the Greater Hunter region. The report indicates the decrease in crime is a result of lockdowns during the COVID-19 pandemic. However, drug and alcohol-related violence continues to be a concern, with the New South Wales government changing the procedures that deal with drug and alcohol-induced violence after a number of assaults on emergency nurses last year.
Multiple nurses and security guards have been bashed. There was a pregnant nurse who was stabbed through the stomach.
The preliminary concept for the redevelopment of Newcastle Foreshore Park has been met with outrage from nearby residents, who claim their feedback is being ignored. The Newcastle City Council proposal includes the installation of an inclusive play space, a cultural heritage walk, and 3 versatile event spaces. The release of the plan comes after a year of consultation with the local community, but Newcastle East residents say the council is not listening to their concerns about the redevelopment.
When you do have your say, they don't seem to be taking any notice. Nobody, and I think the plan that they've drawn up is a good example of that. Nobody wanted a huge, big event space, but that's what we're getting.
Communications students at the University of Newcastle are being financially impacted by the federal government's decision to increase tertiary course fees. And with face-to-face teaching in some courses also cut in half, students are paying more for less. Following the COVID-19 pandemic, the federal government believes an increase in course fees is justified by a lack of job relevancy in the current climate. This is despite a census report indicating that an increasing number of Australian businesses have a social media strategy for their workforce. After being set the challenge of creating a low-cost respirator, medical engineering students at the University of Newcastle have come up with a design that could be made in your garage. The MedMaker's device aims to prevent healthcare workers from contracting respiratory diseases such as COVID-19. The equipment pumps around 170 litres of purified air through a filter every minute and complies with all Australian standards, with the students now planning for how it can be manufactured in the future.
The PPE available for most hospitals and frontline healthcare workers is just not available at the moment.
While the impact of the pandemic continues to be felt around the world, Newcastle's tourism and hospitality industries have begun to adjust to the new normal of easing COVID-19 restrictions. Hunter restaurants are turning to local deliveries for sales, while tourism operators are promoting domestic holidays until international travel is permitted again. A Hunter-based researcher is leading a study into the effectiveness of a common cold and flu drug against COVID-19. In 51 primes the immune system against the most common types of respiratory virus. And University of Newcastle and HMRI Professor Nathan Bartlett says, if proven to be effective, the drug could protect people from rhinovirus, COVID-19 and other respiratory illnesses. Our frontline workers are some of the most susceptible to mental health issues, with first responders experiencing a higher prevalence of burnout, PTSD and depression. But one man has come forward to tell his story and reveal why it is so hard for others to speak out.
This is a long way from some of the horrific scenes frontline workers experience. Mick Walmsley has been a paramedic for 19 years and in 2017 started noticing signs of what was to come.
level of agitation was just getting out of control.
Mick was experiencing what was soon to be diagnosed as PTSD, and it was beginning to impact even the simplest of tasks.
I couldn't make a simple decision. Sharon would ask me if I want a cup of tea, and I couldn't answer if I yes or no.
Mick isn't alone. In a 2018 study of first responders conducted by Beyond Blue, found that 10% of emergency service personnel suffered from probable PTSD, with increased risk over time.
With implementing numerous mental health strategies across New South Wales, like peer support programs, the question is it enough?
You don't need to solve all their problems, that's not the role you play, but just to listen, hear them out, and just validate those feelings.
But most importantly, Mick made it out the other side.
Seeing Dad now, I feel like I can finally say that I know the best version of you. And yeah, it's really good.
Caleb Fogarty, UON News.
Earlier this year, the City of Newcastle hosted the 2021 WSL Rip Curl Cup. Despite having to restrict viewing access and implement a ticketing ballot system to limit crowd numbers and meet COVID-19 restrictions, coordinators and spectators deemed the event a success and are hopeful of its return next year. Founded in 1976, the WSL celebrates global surfing talent, with Brazil's Italo Ferreira and Carissa Moore of Hawaii crowned champions of this year's event. Thousands of experienced and first-time competitors hit Newcastle foreshore last weekend to participate in the annual New Run Running Festival. After the event was cancelled in 2020 because of COVID, more than 2,000 runners gathered on Sunday to take part in the 14th annual New Run Festival. Organised by H Events and sponsored by the City of Newcastle, the New Run circuit loops from Nobby's Breakwall to Honeysuckle Drive, with runners completing marathon, half marathon and short course distances. And that's the news. Head over to our website for the latest in news, sport and weather. But until next time, bye for now.